Alrighty, everyone. Happy Monday. Of course, it is the Memorial Day holiday, so I know a lot of you are off work and maybe trying to get out and enjoy the last day of the long weekend. As you are enjoying this last day of this long weekend, let's take a moment and pause, right? And remember why we have this day off, right? It is because of people who paid that ultimate sacrifice for us to be able to have our freedom here at home. So just try to take some time and pause to remember that today as you're enjoying your day. Not going to be the nicest day, but I do think we'll see some sunshine throughout your Monday. Showers now out of the way. A couple of light showers drifting southeast of the city through Carrollton and Noonan, also through South Fulton, parts of Douglas County. But for the most part, we are dry as of late morning, and we'll stay mostly dry through the afternoon. So we will have some dry time today if you want to get out to the pool, you want to go over to the river, you're trying to maybe grill out some lunch today. Doesn't look half bad. Now, around 2 o'clock, that's when we'll start to watch for some isolated storms to pop up. You might notice it's a little muggy out there, so we'll have that moisture paired with the heat of the day. Although it's not going to be super hot today, we will have that chance for kind of summer-like storms to bubble up with the afternoon. First in the mountains kind of provide their own extra lift, so we'll look to the mountains first, up towards Lake Burton, Lake Rabun. You'll want to start kind of keeping your eyes to the skies around 2 o'clock, and then just scattered storms will be possible throughout the afternoon. We kept this first alert weather day because of that chance for scattered storms with maybe an isolated strong to severe storm with gusty wind, frequent lightning, very heavy rainfall, especially with how much we know people are trying to get out and about today. Now, with the cloud cover and with mostly cloudy skies and that rain from the morning, temperatures today really only going to hold near 80 degrees, low 70s for the mountains. So not going to be super hot if you're spending time by the pool, but not necessarily so chilly that you can't get out by the pool if that's what you had plans to do today. Late tonight, we're watching another batch of showers and storms to roll in from the west. Now, at this point, a wedge of cool air is going to be building in, so that's going to stabilize our atmosphere. However, that's not going to take over areas south and west of the city. So as this line initially moves in late tonight, I do think we could have a few stronger storms with gusty wind, but as it moves through downtown overnight, I think it should be mainly rain. If we do have any rumbles of thunder and gusty wind, everything should stay below severe limits. And then sending you out the door back to work tomorrow. A few showers will be possible in the morning. This is a new model run. Originally, we were thinking the morning was going to be mostly dry, but a few showers are possible for that morning commute with more scattered storms developing tomorrow afternoon. So tomorrow is also a first alert weather day because it just looks generally very unsettled. Tomorrow, I don't think we have the potential for severe weather. If we do have a strong to severe storm, again, it'll be south and west of the city where that wedge isn't in place, and you'll still have some fuel for those storms. We'll hold on to widespread rain chances even into Wednesday. This week overall is just honestly kind of messy. It's just unsettled all week long. Now, aside from the rain and storms tomorrow, we're looking at a wedge building in, which is going to keep us a lot cooler, abnormally cool for this time of year. We're talking highs only in the low to mid 60s north and east of the city, from Athens to Helen to Gainesville and Atlanta even. The low 70s. South of the city, you'll be in the low to mid 70s, maybe pushing 80 degrees in places like LaGrange and Eatonton. We'll have sunshine return Wednesday, temperatures in the low 80s with scattered afternoon storms. And then going into Thursday and Friday, we'll hold on to the chance for scattered showers and storms. Each day, we'll mainly focus on the afternoon and evening. Now, while the morning won't be completely dry this week, the best coverage of rain and storms will be in the afternoon and evening on Thursday and Friday. The good news is, on Saturday and Sunday, we finally start to dry out after a very wet week. We've already picked up over 4 inches of rain this month, which is well above normal. May is actually our second driest month of the year, and we're looking to pick up another inch to 2 inches of rain by the end of this week. So some ponding in the roadways definitely possible with these heavy downpours ongoing through this week. Flash flooding, not necessarily a huge concern, but it is a possibility, especially in West Georgia where we have picked up a lot of rain over the last couple of days. So we'll be keeping an eye on that for you. But again, as I mentioned, we are really looking forward to this upcoming weekend. The humidity looks like it drops off. We'll have a lot of sunshine with temperatures in the 80s and nice and cool mornings in the upper 50s to low 60s. I do see a question that, are we going to see severe weather today? I do think we'll have the potential for maybe an isolated severe storm this afternoon. I don't think that continues overnight for us. We're mainly looking at damaging wind and the potential for gusty wind, frequent lightning, heavy rain, maybe some small hail as well. When it comes to that tornado threat, it's really, really, really low. I don't think we're going to end up seeing a tornado like we did yesterday. Again, with that wedge building in, that's going to keep our atmosphere stable. But if we were to watch anywhere for a strong to severe storm today, other than those pop-up storms this afternoon, I think as a line of storms moves in later tonight, we'll have to watch mainly West Georgia. So from Carrollton down to LaGrange for maybe an isolated severe storm. And I think that primary threat with that, again, is really damaging wind, upwards of 60 miles per hour in severe storms. But as a line of storms moves through overnight, hopefully with that wedge building in, that'll keep us nice and stable, and any storm activity that we have will stay what we call elevated, so those usually don't become severe, which is good news. All right, everyone, keep the First Alert Weather app handy. It's a great tool to have as you're making your way out and about today. It'll let you know if rain and storms are in your area, but we do have to get you caught up on today's stories because it might be, a day off for a lot of people, but we do still have some news to catch you up on, and with that, I'm going to send it over to Brooks Baptiste and leave you with the 7-day in the meantime.
Thanks so much, Courtney. Appreciate it. For all of you who are tuned in right now, thanks for being with us here on the First Alert Desk. We do have a couple of stories that we're staying on top of at this hour, one of which being, boating safety. If you are planning to get out there on the water today, we just heard from the forecast, so it may make you wonder if it's worth getting out there. But, hey, you do what you got to do when you have to, right? And then also another story that we're staying on top of is out of Roswell, where there is an apartment complex that we are learning is without water once again. And this has been pretty much an ongoing situation for the folks who live there at this apartment complex for more than a week. They got water back, and then now it's back out again. Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond has more from the lake house at Martin's Landing Apartments in Roswell with the possible timeline for when they may finally get that water back on.
Right now, the Roswell Fire Department says they anticipate getting this water main break fixed and the water turned back on, hopefully by tomorrow. But this is the second water main break at this apartment complex in just the last week. But take a look at this video that we got from a resident who lives here. This new water main break sent gushing waters through the back of the complex. And according to the apartment's owners, their plumbing team is, quote, working with urgency after this new break was discovered, prompting the water to be shut off for roughly 300 tenants. They're offering rent credits, hotel accommodations, bottled water, but some residents say that doesn't stop this from being a huge inconvenience to not be able to do things like shower or use the restroom.
It's frustrating, sure. It's very frustrating. And, it's difficult to deal with.
Honestly, the only thing that I feel is anger. The domino effect of not having water after about hour 12 or 18 becomes rapid.
Some residents we spoke to say they are planning to move out. They say these back-to-back water main breaks is the final straw for them in what they call a long list of maintenance problems. In Roswell, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
Well, this morning there is a bit of a renewed effort regarding a protest against retail giant Target. A Metro Atlanta pastor has organized a protest after Target's rollback of diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. He's a very familiar name here in the area and really around the country, I should say. Dr. Jamal Bryant, who is the senior pastor of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, asked people to come out to Target, the one in Conyers yesterday, and he says this is an extension of the Lenten boycott that we saw earlier this year. It's also a protest against the Trump administration's DEI rollback.
Those in authority can only do what people allow them to do. And so I think it's not until America clears its throat and voices and registers its objection to what's taking place that we're going to see more of it take place.
And we should tell you that he also held a prayer for George Floyd because yesterday marked 5 years since George Floyd was killed by a former Minneapolis police officer. Well, this morning, many of you may be trying to get out there on the water today, maybe Lake Lanier, maybe another lake that may be in the Georgia area, or maybe you're going to the pool. Well, if you are going to be out there on the water in any capacity, you'll want to be safe, but there are some rules that you need to know about, especially if you plan to be out there on a boat. Atlanta News First, Yasmina Austin has more regarding those rules to ensure you don't get stopped by those water marshals.
Every summer we see a rise in drowning deaths and boating accidents.
And those tragedies never get easier to deal with for Matt Kahn. That's why the Atlanta-based attorney is reminding families to stay safe on the waterways. He often works with those who are impacted by those deaths or injuries.
Almost every boating-related accident is preventable.
According to the Georgia Department of Natural Resources Law Enforcement Division, 57 people drowned in Georgia last year, and game wardens investigated 137 boating incidents that killed 20 and injured 52 people.
Anyone can be involved in a boating-related accident. We see it happen with some of the most experienced boaters that you see. And the reason for that is that it's not just the person operating the boat, it's the other people involved in, swimming or boating. And so a lot of times we see accidents caused by other people who are just not following the rules.
Khan says make sure you know the rules before getting on a boat, whether you're a passenger or the operator. You have to have a life jacket for each passenger on board. Kids under 13 are required to wear it whenever the vessel is in motion.
You have a bunch of people on a small body of water driving towards each other, not knowing, who has the right of way, and we see collisions, we see boats running over swimmers, and that can happen regardless of your level of experience.
Yasmina Alston, Atlanta News First.
I mean, just be careful out there on the water. We have to report on so many unfortunate events that happen there on Lake Lanier and many of the other lakes that are in the Georgia area. And, it's always so unfortunate, especially when it's a child, too. It's always unfortunate, but especially when it's a kid. So following those rules hopefully will keep you safe out there if you are boating today. Let's talk about music because it is the final day for the Atlanta Jazz Festival. And if you haven't had a chance to get out there over the Memorial Day weekend, oh boy, have you missed out this weekend. I am one who missed out this weekend, unfortunately. They have Robert Glasper, Marsha Ambrosius, so many other big names as well. And today is going to be no different. So if you plan to get out there, you can start doing so at 11 o'clock this morning. Luckily, that rain has kind of moved out and given us a little bit of a break, so you might be all right out there. Today is that final day for you to enjoy some of the music out there in Piedmont Park. There's going to be the fun, the food, and the free music all day through 11 o'clock tonight. The lineup begins at 1 o'clock with Brandon Woody, and then Joe Gransden and his big band are going to be closing out the festival at 9 o'clock tonight. The Jazz Festival plans to return again next year, so if you missed out this year, there's always next year. But I have heard nothing but great things, and what I've seen on social media as well is nothing but great things. So hopefully that'll give you something to do if you're looking for plans on a day like today. Do want to take you out to Virginia, where we know there is expecting to be for Memorial Day a wreath laying happening a little later on with President Trump. So we will be bringing that to you live throughout the day as we get more information regarding that. And of course, we'll have updates on all of the events that are happening in and around Atlanta on Atlanta News First at noon. We'll see you then.